Hello, beautiful humans. Oh my gosh, I feel a little bit all over the place today. Ooh, there we go. Just straightening things up. How are you? I feel like I haven't. I feel like I haven't done this for a little while, but that is probably because I haven't. I have been away for the last 10 days. And I wanted to jump on today. Won't go for an hour today, but I wanted to really share something super, super powerful with you. You know that I love doing that. Hello, beautiful Carol. If you're jumping on, tap the heart button for me or just pop a heart in the comments. That would be so awesome. Even if you can't stay for the whole thing, I just so appreciate you being here, and I love to know who's here with me. Okay, I'm just going to dive straight into this today. I'm going to start by just quickly sharing where I've been, what I've been doing, and who I've been doing it with. I'm going to then share this extraordinarily valuable, it's such a great tool for you to take away with you today to help you stay in check of who's driving the bus in my life right now, who's driving it, and help you just to really connect into that. Expanding on that just slightly, it's a little expansion, if you like, on cause and effect. Some of you, if you've worked with me one-on-one or you've worked with me in my group containers, you will know that I have that I live that principle, that universal law of cause and effect. Although now I know it completely differently. Mind blown. And then we're just going to finish off with how you can just keep checking in with this. So a little, kind of takeaway self-inquiry to help you get into the driver's seat of the you bus of you. All right, so let me just start off by sharing where I've been for the last 10 days. So I have, for the entire year, I have been studying neuro-linguistic programming and timeline therapy. Now, for those of you that don't know, NLP, it's known as NLP. N, neuro, mind, L, linguistic. Linguistic is language, and P, programming. And essentially what it means is it's how we use the language of the mind to consistently achieve our specific desired and outcomes. I just wanted to get that into a sentence for you. So it is how we use the language of the mind to specifically create changes and outcomes in our lives. Yes, I'm down for that. And extra to that was timeline therapy. So timeline therapy is where we create change like that. Got to tell you this, guys. I cannot tell you how mind blown I am. I have shifted. I shifted at least 10 unseen limiting beliefs. Limiting beliefs that I didn't even know were there. Like that, gone. I have shifted incongruencies in my being. Do you know what I mean by an incongruency? Have you ever done this? Have you ever sort of said something outwardly but didn't actually really mean it on the inside? That's incongruent. You're saying one thing and doing another. You say one thing, but deep down you really believe another. A really good example of that is where, we tell ourselves that, yeah, we can do something. Yep, we can totally do this thing. But deep down, we really don't believe that we can. That's incongruent. And so, yeah, shifting those. And I'm telling you guys, instantly, bye-bye, Felicia. Such powerful stuff. And ta-da-da-da-da, I should show you this because I'm so bloody proud of myself. I am now a certified practitioner of both. Woo! Woo! So I'm so happy to have done that. It's a whole year of, really being committed to it, and then nearly 10 days, just short of 10 days of the face-to-face prac. But I'm masterful at this stuff. I am so good at it. And you know why I'm so good at it? Because it works like that. Yeah. I have a new belief now around coaching, mentoring, therapy. This is my belief. I believe that we don't need to be in that for long periods of time. And if we're continually going back, then I would find a practitioner of NLP or timeline therapy, because you don't need to. Yeah, we can shift stuff in the unconscious. So my trainer, so I was away doing this with 6 other women. Extraordinary women, masterful women, so incredible women. And our trainer was Ali Mayner. Some of you would have met Ali May. I had her on with me live in our group. So if anyone is watching this and you think to yourself, wow, I would like to learn this modality, she does have a training coming up in March next year. It would be the same as what I've done. If that feels like that's your jam, that you would like to learn you would like to become a certified practitioner, just give me a shout, put a comment below, and I can send you the details. Okay, I'll be assisting at that one too. So I'm pretty happy about that. Was just I'm going to assist. Yeah, I'm going to assist at this. So good. So on with what I want to talk about today. So this to me is the next level of cause and effect. So just to give you an insight. So in life, we are either being at the effect of what's happening, or we are the cause for what's happening. Either things are happening to us, it's not my fault, they did that to me, I didn't do this. That's being at the effect. Cause is being in full self-responsibility for creating everything in your life, right? So one of the questions that came up in our training is the question of who's driving the bus. So let me ask you that question. Who's driving the bus? Who drives the bus in your life? Is it someone else, or is it you? Well, it's you, isn't it? Who drives the bus of my life? Me. Who drives the bus of your life? You. You're driving the bus. I'm driving the bus. But what we often do, though, is we kind of pass that off and be at the effect, right? We be at the effect of this happened to me. I didn't do this. This wasn't my fault. It wasn't my responsibility. That's being at the effect. And when you're being at the effect, you're literally just, jumping out of the driver's seat of the bus, and it's just doing its thing. You're not steering it. You are not guiding it. You are not directing it. And here's the cool thing. You can. We all can. Now, if we can, why don't we? If we do have if we are the drivers of our bus, why do we not have everything we want? This is cool. This is such a cool piece, which is what I want to share with you today. So I've kind of drawn this. Hopefully you can see that there. So I've drawn kind of a little diagram for you to look at. Okay, and I'm just going to kind of talk through what it is. There we go, try and keep it straight for you. So what happens on a day-to-day basis? Actually, I'll come back to that in a second. So in every moment, in every single moment that we've got happening in our life, we have got 11 million bits of information. Now that's current studies, okay? It's changed over time. Different people will have different opinions on this, but in this, the studies, the current studies suggest that 11 million bits of information are coming at us every single day, in every moment of every day. Let me be clear there. In every moment of every day, 11 million bits of information are coming at us. So to give you an example of that, so if I said hold out your hand and I'm going to put 11 million toothpicks on your hand, you're going to go, what? No, I can't hold that. Of course you can't. Right. So what is it that we do? What does this do? When we take in those 11 million bits, if our little brain tried to take in those 11 million bits, it'd be like blowing up a computer. It'd be like, putting over too much information into a computer. If you put too much information into a computer, what happens? The motherboard blows up. That's what would happen. So humans have this mechanism that allows us to just take in a certain amount of information. And again, the studies that I've learnt from suggest that it's 128 bits of information. So of every 11 million bits that come in, we can only extrapolate 128 bits of information. Now, if you think about that, if you think that there's you, there's me, and there's someone else just sitting here in a seat, and 11 million bits of information came at us, the likelihood of us taking in the same 128 bits of information is almost impossible, right? Like the odds are so out there that it just wouldn't even be possible that, I can see Carol on with me. Carol would take her 128 bits from that 11 million pot of information, and I would take my 128 bits and someone else would take their 128 bits. This is why if if there's a car accident and there are 5 people who witness the car accident, you will often get 5 very different reports because they've all taken different bits. Now, why do we do that? This is cool. This is the cool bit. This is what I found really cool. So if we come back to my little diagram here, so this is us. We take in an event, right? Something happens, and we take it in through our senses, either our visually, auditorily, through our 5 senses. We take life in through our 5 senses. We see it, feel it, touch it, taste it, smell it, right? And we take it in. Now up here in our little brain, that's where the process of dissecting, I just want to make that, there we go. I just want to, that's where we make that's where our brain filters out the 11 million bits and just takes in the 128 bits. So the mind deletes, distorts, and generalizes, right? Now, what does it base that on? Well, say, again, I'm not sure if Carol's still with me, but if she is, I'm just going to use you as an example. So down here, we have a little sort of, system that has been created through our life. So that's our experiences, it's our language, it's our memories, it's our values, our beliefs, our patterns, our programmings, everything that, makes us us, that has come through, it's really hard doing this backwards, through life. That's what we, oh my gosh, this is really hard to do backwards. That's what we base the deleting, the distorting, and generalizing. See, my brain can't go backwards. I might try it this way. That's what we base it on, all of that. And so from that, I would take my 128 bits and Carol would take her 128 bits. Now, how we've come to this moment in life are going to be vastly different based on what we've seen, felt, tasted, touched, and heard, right? All of the senses. That's what makes up this little pile of files that decide what do we keep and what do we get rid of. Now, what that leaves us with is this little thing over here called, which I've just put IR. So this process creates our internal representation of the world. In other words, that process that's happening every second. I just want to make sure we take this on. This is second, 11 million, 120, 100, right? It creates our internal representation of the world, our internal model of the world. Now, why is this important? That internal model will be what decides whether something annoys you, something makes you happy, something pisses you off, something upsets you, something triggers you, something activates you, something makes you feel good, something makes you not feel good. Your internal model of the world, which is made up of filtering in those 128 bits of information, that is what your state is going to be drawn from. So some people can look at something and go, you know, oh, that makes me feel really good. Someone else can look at something and go, ooh, that makes me feel really bad. What's an example? Here, I'll give you an example. I don't know why this is coming to me, but this is my example. I grew up on a farm, though fortunately my mum wasn't a fan of offal, you know, the brains and the heart and all that sort of stuff. Thank goodness. For me anyway. But here's the thing. If I looked at a plate of crumb brains or fried brains or whatever, I would look at that and my internal model of the world, my internal representation system would create a state in me that would be like, that's yuck, right? That's awful. Someone else, and in fact, you can go into a fancy French restaurant and you could pay $100 for a gourmet, you know, a la carte version of a meal with brains. And someone else would go, oh, you know, all their senses would be firing and happy. So sharing that with you, can you see, if you're watching this and you want to drop a comment, can you see why we potentially are experiencing the world so completely differently? Okay? Now, let's bring it into relationships, money, business, careers, jobs, spirituality, family, friends, whatever. Any particular, you know, situation in your life, you now can start to begin, you know, you can begin to relate it to why is it that the way you see something is not necessarily how your partner sees it, for example, or you know, you see a certain thing in a relationship and someone else doesn't see it that way. It's because they absolutely cannot. They can't see it that way because they will have a different internal representation system of the world. So now we have that state. So let's just say, use the brains, the dish, the recipe. Oh my goodness. So now the state for me is, ew, you know, yuck, I don't like brains. And then I will have an outward behavior that comes from that, right? Now, if you make me eat brains, I'm likely my behavior would be to get, you know, be like, I'm going to throw up, or ew, don't show it to me. I'd get irritated, agitated, and that will be my behavior, all right? Now, if it creates an internal state of joy for you, you're probably going to enjoy it. You're going to, you know, enjoy the company. You're going to feel good. You're going to feel satiated. Your behavior is going to be one of calmness, relaxed, you know, feeling good. Are you with me on this? Let me know if you're with me on this. So our physiology changes, you know, the state that we create, that gets created via our internal model of the world, and there are 8 billion internal models of the world because every single, one of us is taking in a different, you know, is filtering their 128 bits based on different things, language models, you know, meta programs, behaviors, programs, patterns, all those things, different things that have happened, and we will have. That will create a state. States are joy, happiness, you know, frustrated, you know, not happy. You know, that's what states are. And then from the state, we'll have a physiological reaction. So we'll either feel, you know, a version of calm or a version of frustration or irritation, and then our behavior comes from that, comes from the physiology. So if you come back, if I just show you this again, whoops, you can see something happens. Whoop, we delete, distort, and generalize to catch our 128 bits. We make that up from things that have happened, patterns, things, habits, behaviors, conditioning, programming. Oop, come back this way. And then our internal representation system will decide what that is. We will base it on that, and then it'll create a state within us. And then from that state will be an outward behavior. Now, why is this so cool? Why is knowing this the coolest thing ever? Because if we begin to change our internal model of the world, what else changes? If we change our internal model of the world, internal representation system of the world, if we begin to change that, what else changes? Our state, doesn't it? Because the state is created by our internal representation system. And if our state changes, what else changes? Our behavior changes. So where we would have chosen one thing or done one thing or said one thing or reacted in one way or responded in one way to something, if you shift your internal model of the world, your behavior is also going to be different. And if your behavior is different, then your life will become different. Are you with me on this? It's very, very cool. Very, very cool. So how do we do that? Well, there are a multitude of ways through neuro-linguistic program, NLP, and timeline therapy where we can start to change your unconscious thoughts and your internal model of the world at the level of your unconscious mind. There are processes for that, very specific, very, very powerful processes. Though a way I would love to just share with you right now as a quick takeaway for this is to be aware of this in itself. Just knowing this is going to assist you in understanding that the way you view the world isn't necessarily, in fact, it's not at all going to be possible for someone else to have an exact model of the world as yours, because they haven't had the same experiences in their life that would have formed their internal representation system. They would have had a different set of things. So if you know that, you get to be really powerful. You get to notice when something makes you happy or something makes you frustrated. You get to catch that and go, wait a second, something in my internal representation of the world, my internal model of the world, the way I see the world, either does or doesn't like this right now. I can feel it. There's a physiological response. A state will be activated in your body. You will feel something. But if you can begin to catch that and start to go, oh, wait a second, okay, there's a state going on. This is coming from my 128 bits of information that I've taken in. Someone else won't have taken those same 128 bits of information because they got to pick from the same pot of 11 million bits that I did, so no chance they could have. Can I just pause here for a moment? Notice my state before I go on an autopilot version of behavior that I'm completely doing without thinking. So flippin' cool. So flipping cool. It absolutely just supersizes cause and effect. Being able to be in full cause in your life, full self-responsibility. When you can become masterful at this. Now, wouldn't it just be great if we could just change our internal representation system of the world? What if we could just change our internal model of the world so that it gave us the results we do want? Well, we can. We can. Through NLP, timeline therapy, we absolutely can change your internal representation system of the world. And every time that gets changed, you are taking in a different 128 bits of information, which gives you access to a different state and a different set of behaviors. How cool is this? Just so cool, right? Yeah, so I am incredibly excited to use these modalities in my coaching now. My coaching models have completely shifted. I used to work with people in a 12-week container. Today I've changed that completely. I have a process now that can be done in 4 weeks. Yeah, 2 hours a week for 4 weeks. A 2-hour session once a week for 4 weeks, and we can shift everything instantly. This is instant, guys. These processes are do once processes. Do them once and you will completely shift your internal representation system. Because why? Because we're doing it at an unconscious level. I'm communicating with your unconscious mind. Amazing. It's so cool. So going forward, yes, there's 2 ways that you can work with me going forward. Yes, if you're listening to this and it sounds like you have something that you would like to shift once and for all, please reach out to me and we can have a 30-minute chat to see if we're a fit for each other, whether it's a match. And the second way is through our Sacred Sister Mind group container. This is a 6-month container that we journey as a group of women collectively together for 6 months. We meet up on Zoom once a fortnight for 6 months, and it is flippin' powerful. It is so extraordinarily powerful. The women in the current group, a couple of them will actually become mentors in the new group. Extraordinary stuff. Yeah. The transformations have just, there's magic in this container. And the magic in this container, it's still here, is this container holds you. So it doesn't let you off the hook in between our sessions. You stay in the embodiment of what you learn in between our group sessions. And that, beautiful humans, that is where the magic has been happening for the women in the current container. That is open now for registrations, and I would highly recommend that. Really, I would suggest that you would. And why wouldn't you want to? Why wouldn't you want to be in that container? The group journey begins in February, but I've got 2 bonus group calls that are going to really set you up powerfully for the journey. One in December and one in January. This call will be powerful. There's a set of processes we go through to just clear all of the sludge away so that you can arrive into the container ready. I am fully all about empowering. This is how I've lived my life. This is how I continue to expand and grow and up-level my life so that I get to live the life I want. I get to live the life I choose. I get to live the life I create. Yeah. And it's extraordinary. And I want this for every woman. I want this for every human on the planet. This is powerful. Yeah. And I imagine living in a world where people are showing up in every moment in pure. Their energy is pure, clean, fully aligned. Full cause, full self-responsibility, full creation. And it's completely possible, and it's possible like that. We just make some shifts at an unconscious level. All right, beautiful humans. I have, I'm really just excited and doing a lot of stuff right now. So my days are really full, and I'm looking after, oh my goodness, if you could see my grandkitty, I'm looking after my grandkitty, Chippy, while his mum and her partner and her friend move into a new apartment, just so he doesn't get all, oh my God, he's just all sprawled out on my bed. So cool. Yes, reach out. If you want to have book in a 30-minute chat with me about any of this, please just reach out and we can have a quick 30-minute chat. See if any of these programs would transform your life. I'll give you the heads up. They will. Mwah! Lots and lots of love, and I will see you soon.